It arrived without ceremony. No grand entrance, no flash in the sky, just a line of text on every major diplomatic channel. "We would like to meet you." The message repeated in 142 languages, then went silent. No return address. No sender signature. Just 6 words, humming quietly in the background of human space like a ticking clock. Inside the Earth Interstellar Union headquarters orbiting Luna Prime, the command room fell into a stunned silence. Data streams froze mid-scroll. People looked up from screens, their expressions caught somewhere between awe and dread. Captain Imani Rao stood motionless. Her fingers hovered over the edge of a holotuple, eyes narrowed as the phrase repeated again. A diplomat now, but once a frontline commander during the siege of Europa, she had seen her share of surprises. None like this. Aide Chancellor Hale broke the silence first. "No coordinates. No sender signature. Just that." Imani nodded. "They want us off balance." "Mission accomplished." Hale leaned in. "Could be a trap. Could be an invitation." Imani replied, voice steady. "Either way, it's our move." Within the hour, Earth's Unified Council convened. Arguments erupted. Military posturing versus diplomatic overtures, old world suspicions clashing with bold optimism. But one consensus rose: someone had broken the silence. The real silence. The one that had lingered for centuries, ever since humanity began reaching beyond soul, only to find the stars full of whispers that never answered. Now they had. And someone had to go. They chose Imani. The ESV Dawn Spire launched 2 days later, its silver hull cutting through the fabric of space like a blade. Destination, Gliese 581G. A world of silence, mystery, and now, the only known coordinates to receive the message in real time. Imani sat alone in the central cabin, staring at the encrypted file blinking on her datapad. Confidential, diplomatic briefing, first contact parameters. She didn't open it. Not yet. Her comm chirped. "Captain," came the voice of Ensign Vero, from command. "We've picked up an anomaly." Imani leaned forward. "Threatening?" "No. But strange. A signal piggybacked on the transmission route. It's not Union code." "Put it through." A text file opened on her screen. "Don't trust the invitation. It's not what it seems." No signature. No traceable origin. It vanished seconds later, burned away by an automatic data sweep. Imani stared at the blank screen. Then, slowly, she smiled. Gliese 581G looked like a frozen sapphire when she arrived. Its oceans were still, its atmosphere stable, but there were no satellites, no beacons, no sign of technology, until you entered orbit. That's when the construct revealed itself. It didn't appear so much as emerge, as if reality had politely stepped aside to make room. A massive, crystalline ring array hovered just above the planet's surface, suspended without propulsion. Pure alien design. Ancient, precise, humming with quiet threat. The Dawn Spire docked automatically. No commands needed. The ship responded like a guest checking into a hotel that already knew her name. Imani stepped through the docking tube and into the unknown. The chamber she entered defied dimensions. It was too wide to be real, too quiet for its size. Dozens of platforms circled the central floor, each occupied by delegates of species unknown to Earth. Some shimmered with bioluminescent skin. Others hovered without legs. Some wore suits, not for protection but for status. They did not speak. Imani stood at the center, alone, her boots echoing on polished obsidian. A voice finally spoke, not aloud, but directly into her mind, smooth and cold. "Human. You have come. Good. The Concord watches." A tall, gray figure stepped forward from the shadows. Broad-shouldered, eyes like mercury, and adorned in ribbons of woven silver. "Archon Vectel," the voice translated. "Elder strategist of the Zarn Dominion. You stand before the galactic Concord." Imani didn't bow. She didn't flinch. "I'm Captain Imani Rao, representative of Earth and the Interstellar Union." Vectel circled her slowly, expression unreadable. You're alone. You invited us. Not our fleet. Wise, he said. But there was no praise in his tone. Another delegate, a spindly creature of blue tendrils, clicked a series of notes. The translator interpreted. We debated whether to acknowledge your species at all. Your history is troubling. Imani kept her stance firm. It's also remarkable. We've survived everything we've thrown at ourselves. That's resilience. Vectau raised a hand. Resilience is not the same as wisdom. No, Imani said, locking eyes with him. But it's what you call upon when wisdom fails. A murmur rippled across the chamber. Vectau leaned closer. This is not a meeting, Captain Rao. This is an assessment. Your presence here is a test. Pass, and humanity joins the Concord. Fail. He let the word hang in the air like smoke. Imani stepped forward. Then let's get on with it. Later, in her assigned quarters, an oddly organic pod shaped like a seashell, Imani activated her log. Captain's log, entry 1. The Concord has been watching us longer than we imagined. They've studied our wars, our politics, our instability. Now they want proof we're more than chaos wrapped in flesh. But this isn't diplomacy. It's theater. They're not curious. They're afraid. And fear makes people, species, dangerous. As she closed the log, her wall shimmered. A new message appeared. Just 4 words this time. They fear you. Use it. She stared at the message, heart steady, mind racing. Somewhere, someone believed in her. Or needed her to believe in herself. Either way, the test had begun. And she intended to pass. The chamber had changed. Where once there had been silence and still observation, now each platform flared to life, holographic seals igniting above every delegate's station, projecting the sigils of empires long unknown to Earth. The air turned dense, almost electric. Captain Imani Rao stood at the center again, spine straight, expression unreadable. A deep tone reverberated through the hall, neither voice nor instrument, just a resonance that settled in bone. Let the tribunal begin. Archon Vectau descended from his platform, robes trailing behind him like shadows that refused to leave the ground. Captain Rao, he said, tone clipped and formal. You represent a species whose existence has until recently been considered irrelevant. Your emergence into the wider galaxy has disrupted multiple diplomatic zones and prompted reclassification of several border systems. Explain this. Imani didn't blink. We didn't disrupt. We expanded. Peacefully. You arrived uninvited. No one was answering the door. Murmurs rose, some displeased, others amused. An alien with mirrored skin leaned forward, voice hollow and slow. You consumed your own planet before reaching for the stars. Is this what you bring to our galaxy, scorched earth and ambition? Imani stepped forward, hands behind her back. We broke things, yes. But we fixed much, too. We're not perfect. But we're not aimless either. You're confusing history with destiny. Another delegate, a feathered being with 6 eyes, chirped sharply. Its translator spoke. You've had over 4,000 armed conflicts in 3 millennia. Do you expect us to believe your kind can coexist in peace? She let the moment breathe, then said calmly. We've also cured disease, extended life, landed on 23 worlds, and stopped a war that almost ended us. We chose unity. We've made mistakes, but we've learned. Vectau raised a long finger. Learning is not the measure. Endurance is. Harmony is. Is harmony the absence of conflict, or the ability to grow beyond it? She shot back. The silence that followed wasn't awkward, it was weighty. Vectau shifted tactics. Very well. Let us proceed to evidence. The chamber dimmed. Screens hovered around Imani, each flickering with archival footage, mushroom clouds blooming over old Earth, riots in Martian colonies, pirate attacks in the Kuiper Belt. Edited for impact. Curated for condemnation. This is your legacy, he said. Violence in high definition. Imani didn't look away. Those were real. So were the people who stopped them. Show them too. No, Vectal replied. This is your defense. If you wish to balance the scales, present your own record. She took a breath. I will. But not from data files. From memory. Several delegates stirred. One let out a clicking sound of disapproval. Imani continued. We developed neural imprint technology decades ago. I can grant you direct access to select lived experiences. Not words. Not edited tapes. Truth. Vectal tilted his head, amused. You would offer your own mind for examination? My memories are mine. I choose what to share. But yes. See what I've seen. He nodded slowly. Accepted. Begin. A low hum spread across the room. From the dais, a drone floated toward Imani. It hovered above her head, then projected a shimmering light that enveloped her body. The first image exploded into the chamber, bright, vivid, immersive. A child trapped under rubble, crying for help. Fire everywhere. A woman, Imani, bloodied and younger, dragging debris aside with burned hands. Gasps. Even among the cold. Then, soldiers refusing orders to bomb a civilian transport. Then, doctors treating injured enemy captives in makeshift clinics during the lunar skirmishes. Then, the Europa ceasefire, Imani standing between two armies, weaponless, arms raised. She could feel their eyes now, aliens used to numbers, cold records, sterile histories. But this was raw. You wanted proof of growth? She said. We don't deny what we've done. But we evolve. You judge us by our scars. But it's our healing that defines us. A voice hissed from above. Emotion as argument. Came the disdainful reply from the Varkan ambassador. Typical human tactic. You seduce with stories. Imani turned to the source. No. I reveal with truth. You fear that truth might move you. More murmurs. Vectal stepped forward. His tone had shifted, cool, but curious now. Why do you think we invited you? Imani hesitated. To assess. To test. Maybe to intimidate. He gave the faintest nod. Correct. The concord is not driven by sentiment. You threaten balance. I threaten the assumption that you had balance to begin with. She countered. You've stagnated. You monitor, categorize, isolate. But you've stopped connecting. That did it. The six-eyed delegate rose abruptly. You presume too much. No, she said, calm but unrelenting. I presume just enough. Later, in her quarters, she sat in silence. The neural exchange had drained her, physically, mentally. She felt hollowed out but clearer. Then a faint shimmer rippled across her wall. Another message, brief. Well played. Not all are blind. She smiled slightly. The tribunal wasn't over. But something had shifted. They had expected a diplomat trained in formality. Instead, they got a soldier who understood what it meant to survive judgment. And still hold her head high. The corridor lights flickered. Captain Imani Rao paused mid-step. The alien station had been pristine, too pristine. Now a vibration hummed beneath her boots, faint but present. Something had changed. Report, she ordered, tapping her wristband. No response. The calm line remained dead. She tried again, same silence. She exhaled, scanning the corridor. It wasn't panic she felt, but clarity. This wasn't an accident. It was maneuver. A low, metallic groan echoed down the hall behind her. Earlier that day, the tribunal chamber had been quiet, but not passive. The delegates sat still, yet tension simmered just under the surface, like static before a storm. Yesterday, Vectal said from his high platform, you submitted your personal memories as testimony. Unusual, but effective. He hadn't meant it as praise. Just observation. Today, he continued, we will discuss intent. Not just what your species has done, but what it wants. Imani didn't hesitate. We want what any sentient race does. Security. Progress. Understanding. And what price will you pay for that? She looked around at the delegates. That depends. Do you mean in blood, or in compromise? A few heads tilted. Others remained still. The Tsar, however, showed no expression at all. You're aware, Vektal said, that several Concord members believe your species should be quarantined. I've read the indicators. Passive-aggressive trade blocks. Intel leaks. Denied transport lanes. Yes. And yet here you are. Imani offered a small smile. Because we don't beg for seats, we earn them. There was a sharp buzz, brief, almost imperceptible. Then the lights dimmed slightly. Only for a moment. But enough for Imani to notice the delegate's micro-reactions. The avian delegate twitched. The Krell representative leaned forward as if to speak, but didn't. Vektal ignored it. Or pretended to. Something wasn't right. Now, alone in a hallway that no longer responded to her presence, Imani followed the only path still lit. The walls, once seamless and smooth, now shimmered with something beneath the surface. Circuitry? Organic structure? She couldn't tell. A door slid open. Inside, a room she hadn't been assigned. Hexagonal. Dim. At its center stood a console, one she recognized from earlier schematics. It wasn't for communication. It was a vote control unit. Delegates cast their decisions through these stations, anonymous, sealed, untraceable. But this one had a data tap feeding from it. Unauthorized. Clearly external. Sabotage. She approached and ran a scan. The source, Zarn-coded encryption. Her comm buzzed, finally, just as she finished decrypting the signal path. It was Vero, the ship's tech officer. Captain, are you safe? I am. For now. We've got a breach. Yeah, Vero said. We know. There was an explosion on the outer ring near your ship. Minor hull damage. You've been blamed. Imani's jaw tensed. On what evidence? They found Earth-made microfilament in the debris. But I swear. It wasn't us. She cut in. I know. And I have proof. She uploaded the scan results. The tampering was clear. Someone had modified vote systems to misattribute sabotage data. And only one species had access to both encryption and motive. The Zarn wanted a failed assessment. An hour later, Imani stood again in the tribunal. The Krell delegate rose unexpectedly. We request emergency review of Concord Protocol 47, Sovereignty and Framing. Vektal frowned. On what basis? The Krell stepped forward. Evidence of internal tampering, targeted against the human delegation. Imani activated her holo. This is what I found. A modified voting node, wired with Zarn encryption, routing blame through our ship's comm signature. The evidence planted on the ring? It was manufactured. A visible ripple of agitation moved through the chamber. Vektal's jaw tightened. This is an accusation, he said quietly. It's not, Imani replied. It's a fact. The question now is whether you'll investigate your own. For the first time, Vektal's control cracked. His voice lowered, heavy. You presume immunity because you shocked this chamber with sentiment. No, she said. I presume fairness. I'm just now realizing I shouldn't have. The Krell moved again. We request temporary suspension of judgment until a third-party inquiry is completed. Whispers spread like fire. Vektal looked to his left. Then right. He didn't argue. He just sat. Hours later, Imani returned to her quarters. The lights felt colder now. Less welcoming. She sat down slowly, the exhaustion setting in. Not physical, strategic. Every word had been a calculation. Every breath measured. Her wristband chimed once. A new message appeared. You held the line. You're not alone. She didn't smile. Not yet. The tribunal wasn't over. But the facade was cracking. And truth had a voice now.